There are definitely some creative elements of Reptar 2010 that I liked, but I have to say I didn't love this episode, and I think that's generally because I'm not a big fan of Reptar. I don't mind Reptar in small doses, and growing up, I don't think I had an aversion to Reptar, but it's definitely not one of my favourite characters. This is the first segment of the ninth episode of the third season of Rugrats, and the Rugrats are watching a Reptar video, but the tape breaks, so the television's not working properly. And while Grandpa's off trying to fix it, each of the babies provide their own idea for what they think is the ending of the film, and we see these endings being played out with the baby in question in Reptar style, or perhaps Reptar looking like the baby. And that's very creative. Some are more effective than others. And we have these various narratives. And honestly, I didn't really care for any of the narratives. I appreciate their creativity, but for me, from an entertainment perspective, I just didn't find this to be a fun episode at all. But I did like a couple of the ways Reptar looked. He was the statue of Lizardy as Chuckie, and I think Chuckie looked great as Reptar, or Reptar looked great as Chuckie. Phil was kind of boring, it wasn't that engaging, none of the others were. Tommy looked okay because Reptar was wearing Tommy's clothing, and I don't know, there was just something about it that looked quite good. And at one point, the laser beams took the form of the playpen, the playpen that Tommy's often in, and he reaches for a screwdriver and uses that. So I thought that was quite nice, but honestly, I didn't really care for it that much. I really don't have that much else to say about it because I just found the narrative to be quite boring and not that interesting. But again, I do acknowledge how creative it is. And if you're a fan of Reptar, then I think it's something that you think will actually be quite fun and quite well done. But generally, I can only take Reptar in small doses. So having an entire episode of Reptar and also this kind of action film aspect, it didn't appeal to me at all. So I don't have much else to say. It was, a fine episode in terms of the editing. It flowed well, the animation quality was good. Fundamentally, there's nothing wrong with it. But for me personally, I just don't think it's one that I would ever watch again.